has seemingly been the one to be chosen. It's not often, I'd like that to be in the transfer window as well with transfer lists, but we're starting somewhere here because I can't lie, Atletico Madrid, ex-sporting director, Andrea Berta, seemingly in the position or agreed terms and will be in the position in the coming weeks. And when the way it's been portrayed, because I'm going to give some context to why I feel like, it's enlightened me a little bit as well, because 3 weeks ago, Arteta was asked about sporting director, the need for it to be confirmed before the summer. And he said, you're going to have to ask the people in charge of it. And I thought to myself, like, what, are you really not involved with it? Like, so I thought, okay, that's interesting. And then now it's come out, and Ornstein and Romano have reported that Ornstein has said Richard Garlick and Tim Lewis have headhunted and decided on him. It said part of the ownership was there along the way, which was Josh Kroenke, and it said and the last sentence was with some input from Mikel.
Well, so that's how it's finished in.
Yeah, so it's like he's come in, but he's come in as an Italian, so there's no Spanish link there. As someone, he's the most experienced football man in this side now. So he's a personality, he's a character. He's worked at a higher level than where we are at right now across the last 10 years, with Atletico winning leagues and Champions League finals, but Europa League wins. So it'll be interesting to see how he works. And when I look at his resume listen, obviously everyone's got flops, everyone's got risks that haven't paid off, but he's got a lot right over the years. And he's someone that when you talk of market opportunities, he's shown that. He's shown David Villa comes in, market opportunity. He done time at Barca, wins the league at Atletico. Luis Suarez, same thing. 7 years later or 6 years later, looks with Barca, time done. Comes in for 5 million, wins them the league. Julian Alvarez, different story, 80 mil, but he's had a great first season. And listen, Felix didn't work, but Felix was off the back of Griezmann going to Barca for 100 and something. Then they get Griezmann back after 2 years for a total fee of 30 mil. They originally paid 30 mil for him. So the business he's done, and Llorente he bought with the money from, and he's played a big part in midfield for them. Kieran Trippier was quite shrewd. So I could list off some names that I'm looking at him like, yo. And then you've worked with Simeone, a top 3 manager of the last decade for me. Top 3, top 4. Top 3, top 4. Because I put Ancelotti OG status, like he's been around not just the last decade, but Pep, Klopp, and Simeone. And, that's how I see the more modern day managers. But Simeone's talked highly of him. So I'm very interested at this, because it's not like Arteta's man is coming in, and it's not like a yes man for the owners is coming in. It's an experienced guy, background in banking, love football because he was working on the side with football for years before even going into Parma or whoever he started with, I forgot. So I'm impressed, Arsenal, by this. Impressed. And it's March, 2-3 months, the window opens. We've got a man that none of us can look at and say, he's shit. He didn't get the deals over the line, because he's got many a big deal over the line. So if we don't get big deals over the line, we know it's not him. Like it could have been Edu, because it's always the easy excuse. We've got the man in now that none of us should doubt. If we want to sign big players and we want unprecedented summer, then Berta's in. Let's go. Let's do what we need to do.
Yo, I just realised
what is that Mikel's got an influence in that. Like, it's like, I don't think he should have an influence in that. I know he should have an influence of getting around the table and talking about the players, but I don't think he should be the one turning around and going, yeah, I think he's the right person for the job. I don't, I don't understand that.
But the way I perceive it is, it was more because it was a final line as well, and because Mikel's already said 3 weeks ago, I don't know. That's not a question for me. So I think the only input he's probably had is, yo, that's the guy we're gonna go for. You calm with it? Cool. Like for me, I get that. Because it's like you're going to have to let someone know who you're going with. But it's not. But I don't think he should have the power to be like, no, not him. Especially someone like Berta. Because the resume is there. Why wouldn't you want this guy here? Why? There's no reason fans shouldn't want Berta. There's no reason Mikel shouldn't want Berta. And there's no reason anyone else around Arsenal shouldn't want him when you look at the resume and the options around. So for me, I'm more than happy with that. Now let's get the fucking signings in.
I just realised these men took my moustache off, I've just clocked.
Yeah. Didn't you know that?
I didn't even clock.
Man said, "Hey, I'm talking here about." This guy said,
I didn't realise. I'm just caught. My moustache is gone. I just got to tidy it up.
"That's tidy, and yeah, that's
It's
tidy."
all right, yeah.
Yeah. So, what don't you man have thoughts on the sporting director? What's
I
going on?
don't have any kind of massively strong thoughts. I mean, I don't know a lot about these guys. But, I mean, they always say like these are the 4 candidates, and these are their track records of who they've signed, and all of them look generally good. But one thing I think you mentioned, which is important, is he's not getting ties to the current regime. He's not like a Brethren. He's not like bringing our guy. And 2, his experience. He's not been around the block. He's not done a few good deals in the last couple of years. This guy's got 10 years in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know much about the guy beyond that. So just get to work. Monday mornings tomorrow. Get him a desk. Get him a nice little triangle. What it was, this thing, little triangle name badge on the desk. Let's go. Make some calls. Draw those contacts in. Because our talent ID. There's been lots of hits, but there's been a lot of questionable misses as well. And as well as a lot of the obvious players that I think are on the market that are gettable, both in the Prem and across Europe, I'm quite patient, right? I'm patient. I want to win the league, of course, but I'm patient. So I expect him to be looking, and this is where Edu was good, to be fair. What about some gems? What about some guys from leagues and countries that we've not heard of before, for a guy that in 2 years' time is going to be the new hot thing? Get some established guys in now for the now, of course. But your talent ID needs to extend beyond the guys that we already know. I want this guy to come in and say
that though. Griezmann came in from Sociedad. Rodri came in from Villarreal, I think, and Black came in from Benfica, all young, and look at their careers.
You're right. You're totally right, because I've got a lot of cynicism about whether. Sorry, I'm very skeptical about whether we will have this massive war chest that I think a lot of people expect. So if my concerns are right, and we don't have this 300 mil war chest, we're going to have to be quite smart and shrewd in the market, because we don't only need quality, we need quantity as well. We need quite a lot of players in. There'll be players going out, of course, but we need quite a few bodies in the door as well. So that's where you pick up your 5 mil bargain here and your 15 mil gem there. Everyone can't be 60 mil, 80 mil, 100. Do you know what I mean? So as well as the kind of guys that we want and we know of, I'm expecting him to identify some talent. And look, do what United are doing. Start poaching other people's best talents from their academies. Let's have a look at Chelsea's academy. Let's have a look at, let's start poaching youngsters. If we can't get if there's not a left back, for example, that's a bad example, but if there's not a centre forward, for example, in our ranks right about now, and you bring in one centre forward for 65 mil, then let's see if we can try and poach Man City's new hot centre forward who's 16 years old.